Hey guys, I'm Gokul Raj. Welcome to the course EDIT. It's a computer vision course. When I say it's a computer vision course or image processing course, don't think it's completely software based. Of course, there's a lot of coding, but you can integrate this library with your hardware, with your development board, and you can do crazy projects. So I have made this course simpler and divided it into 5 different parts. And we'll be releasing videos each week. So in the first week, we'll be learning color detection. So we'll start from very basics from importing the library, and we will learn all the basics in the first week, and at the end of the first week we'll be learning how to detect colors, like how robots can identify between different colors. In the second part of the course we'll be learning about shape detection and object recognition, and at the end of the course we'll be making a project smart parking lot. And then in the third week we'll be learning how robots do facial recognition, and we'll build a security system. I guess most of you guys have seen the security system in your colleges or maybe in your offices, where there will be a mission where you have to show your face and it will recognize you and update your attendance. We'll see how to make that from scratch. And in the fourth week, we'll be learning QR code scanning. QR code scanning is not a big thing. Like if you have a mobile phone, it scans the QR code and give you the information, right? We will learn how to do that in a program, and also we will add multiple functions to it, and then we'll use the data which we get from QR code to make some sample applications. At the end of that week, we'll be doing something called as logistics bot. It's like a delivery robot which can deliver things from your warehouse to the transportation area, something like that. And in the fifth week of the course, we'll be learning TK Inter. TK Inter is nothing but a GUI making library in Python, with which we can make various crazy GUIs. At the end of that week, we'll make a smart camera with this, with all these things which you learned in the 4 weeks, and we'll add all the functionalities, and we'll make a complete GUI. Let's say we are making something like an app. So which will have features like filters, which can detect colors, which can detect objects, which can detect your face, which can see QR code and everything. So let's get started. These are the resources which we'll be using in today's program, and I'll upload all these things in a drive and will give you the link. Even I will give the link of this IPython notebook so that you can refer to it. Now let's get started. Opening command prompt. Opening the Jupyter notebook. Now, look at this video. It's cute, right? This little robot tracks this object and it moves according to this object. So, how this robot is doing that? Two things. One is maybe it can recognize its color and it can move. Second thing, maybe it recognizes the shape and it can move. Now today in this program we will see how to detect colors, like how robots see colors in the real world. Whenever you start coding in Python, whatever library you use, first thing we will do is importing the library so that we bring all the functionalities of this library to our code. And then if I want to open this particular image, what will I do? I double click it, right? Simple. But similarly, if you want to open this particular work with it, you have to use a command called as cv2.imread. This command will help to pass this image to this variable. It's simple. Imagine like this. Take a variable a and initialize it like 3. It has 5 plus 3. Now what will be the value of a? It's 8, right? Of course, it will be 8. Similarly, this image will be stored by this particular variable. Now, after this, I'm just displaying that image in a window called as camera. cv2.imshow will display this particular variable in a window called as camera. And what this variable is storing? The data of this particular image. Now, what does this print image do? Like, what will it do? It will display the image in a mathematical format. Wait, what? Mathematical format? Yes, I will explain what it is after showing you the output of this particular program. Now, cv2.wait key 0. This is nothing but when I press some key, any random key in my keyboard, then this will pass the cursor to the next line. Till that the cursor will not pass this line and it will be doing all these functions. That's it, simple. When I press some button, then cursor will go to this line, and this is cv2.destroy all windows. Here the only window which will be open is camera, and this window will get closed. Now I'm running this. The image group.png has been displayed in the window camera and print image resulting in this. What is this? Basically, an image is nothing but a pixel representation in x-axis and y-axis. And if it's a color image, then each pixel will have 3 elements, which is blue, green and red pixel values ranging from 0 to 255. Basically, you can create any color in the world by mixing blue, green and red in particular values. So that's what this represents. It's just a 2D array with pixel values. Now I'm pressing some random number, like it's closed, because when I press something, this command will get initiated. Now here, let's do it for a live image, that is nothing but a video. When I say video, it is collection of frames, that is collection of images. If you take 100 images consecutively and you run that in a very fast speed, that is a video, right? So first, this command cv2.video capture 0 will trigger my webcam. It will turn on my webcam. If I put 1 over here, then if I attach some USB cam, that will get triggered. If I have 2 USB cam, I can use either 1 to represent my first webcam or 2 to represent my second webcam. Now this data from the video camera will get passed to the variable cap. As this is a video, we have to collect the images and read it in a loop infinitely. So I'm creating an infinite loop. While one a comma b equals to cap.read. Wait, why we need 2 variables? We just need 1 variable to store the image, right? But the cap will have 2 different variables. One will give us the output of the image, that is, the image will get stored in the form of matrix, and the other one will say whether the webcam is working or not. If the webcam is working, it will return true. If the webcam is not working, it will return false. Now we'll print that to see what it is, and then as usual, I'm showing the variable b in a window camera, where b will have the data from the frame cap, and cap is nothing but the data which it receives from the video camera. It's very easy to understand. You try to run this code yourself so that you will get into it. Now k equals to cv2.waitKey10. In the previous code, I just mentioned cv2.waitKey0 without any variable, so I can press any random key, then the next command will get executed. But here, this whatever key I press, that will be stored in the variable k, and that will be in the ASCII format. If I press a, the value of k will be 97. If I press b, the value of k will be 98. And if the value is 97, then it will get destroyed. All windows will get destroyed. This command will turn off my webcam and it will break the infinite loop. So if I press B, C, D, nothing will happen. If I want to make some 5 different functions, let's say if I press B, I have to click a picture. If I press C, I have to make my picture black and white. I can use if k equals to 98, if k equals to 99, something like that. Now let me run this. See? Hi. So yeah, this is the output. So my webcam keep on storing the frames and passing that to cap. From cap, my P keep on reading it, and then I'm displaying it in the window camera. And here the true represents variable A, which says my webcam is properly working and functioning. I'm pressing number 0, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5. But when I press A, the window automatically closes because A's ASCII value is 97, and we made a condition: if k equals to 97, all the windows will get destroyed. See, that's what's happening here. Now let's move on to next part. Okay, whatever window we saw, whatever image we saw, whatever video we saw, everything was in colored format, right? It was in BGR format, blue, green and red. But we can convert this format to various different other formats. For example, in this particular code, I'm converting into grayscale, and also I'm converting it into HSV. Now, what is grayscale and HSV? Grayscale is nothing but converting a color image into black and white image, and HSV is nothing but converting a color image into hue, saturation and value. This value can also be called as illumination index, and I will show you what is HSV later using MS Paint. Now, I will run this code. Yeah, this is the original image, and this is the grayscale image. I like this grayscale image so much because see the quality of this image, like the exact same color intensity in color image has been turned to black and white. So as usual, I didn't give any condition. If I press any key in the keyboard, the windows disappear. Yeah, now let me show this live also before explaining the HSV. See, this is the original format, this is the HSV format, and this is the grayscale format. Now I'm pressing some random keys, it's not closing because again here I gave the condition if k equals to 97 then the window closes. So I'm giving A and the window is closed. Now as I said, now I'll explain what's HSV using Microsoft Paint. If you open the color palette, you can see range of colors here, right? This is also green and also this is called as green. Similarly, this is also green and this is green. So when the robot sees a color, it should identify whether it is some particular color. So it should know from this range to this range, the color means same. As I said, images, videos, everything is nothing but a pixel representation it's a 2D representation of pixels. Now let me click this particular color. The hue for this color is 61, saturation is 227, illumination index is 116. Similarly, RGB values are here. When I change the lighting, it's the same color, I'm just changing the lighting in it. The hue saturation is constant, but the RGB values change drastically. That is why we prefer HSV values than RGB values for color detection. And also, how will you find the threshold? Let's say I want to find green color. So this is also green, similarly this is also green, right? So first I will fix the hue, 52 to 106. Then I will fix the saturation. Saturation is nothing but the depth of the color. Let's say 240 to 98. Basically it's 98 from 240, lower threshold to upper threshold. And luminosity index, it's nothing but it's the brightness. So let's start from this brightness. It's 216 to 59. That's basically inverse, 59 to 216. So when you fix ranges like this, even though the lighting condition changes, your robot will not misidentify the color and will not give a false output. So yeah, but finding thresholds like this is kind of complicated, right? Don't worry, I will be sharing shortcuts with you guys in further codes. So yeah, let's understand this code first. I forgot to explain the syntax of this. Look at this here. I have the color image, which is B, which is nothing but a frame from the video. Now I'm converting this B from BGR to gray. The syntax is simple and straightforward. cv2.convert color, that is CVT color. What you are converting, the frame B, from what you are converting, color to which, grayscale. Similarly, cv2.color BGR to HSV. So yeah, before finding the colors, before the robot identifies the color, it converts the frame into HSV and proceeds. Now look at this part of the code. In this code I'm using an image called as 3. I will show that image and then I'm displaying the image, converting it into HSV, displaying the HSV, then I'm fixing lower threshold and upper threshold. Now what is this lower threshold and upper threshold again? This is nothing but the range of colors which identifies which is particular to one specific color. Here I took green. So as I showed you earlier, I fix green's hue, green saturation and green's luminosity index, and I got this threshold values by hit and trial method only. So let me run this code so that you will understand. This is the original image, this is the HSV format, and this is the resultant output. The green color is over here and over here. That's why you're getting green colors over here. But what is this white dots? Those are called as noises. Whenever you take a high quality image, whatever you see is not actually proper. Like there may be some pixels which are in some other color, but you can't identify it with your eyes, but computer can. That is why we are getting these noises. So how can you make these noises disappear? You have to reduce the quality of the image. When I say you have to reduce the quality of the image, it's nothing but blurring the image. And there's a simple way to do it, but first I'll explain this code to you. Here also, I didn't give any if condition, so if I press any button, the window automatically closes. So look at this code. Importing CV, importing NumPy as an NP. NumPy is nothing but it's an array representation for images for pixels. As I said, image is a 2D representation of pixels. Why I'm stressing on this point is because and whatever operation you perform, it is based on this particular thing. Image or a frame is nothing but a representation of pixel. It's a mathematical representation which looks like this. If it's a grayscale image, it will be like one channel, that is pixel will have only one value. If it's a color image, each pixel will have 3 values. And I forgot to show you the grayscale image, so let me show it over here. Let me print it. Print gr. Now yeah, let me close this. Look at this. See, in the previous code, when I print the color image, it was like a 2D array, but in 2D array each element has 3 values. But here again it's a 2D array only, but in a 2D array each element has only one value. That is nothing but the intensity of the color from white to black.
That's what we call as grayscale, right? Of course, the name says that. So yes, where I was over here, I was explaining this particular code, right? Yeah. So I'm converting into HSV and then I'm showing the HSV, then I'm declaring the lower threshold and upper threshold. If this particular hue, saturation, luminous intensity, hue, saturation and value was there, then the color means green. So that's why I'm saying if the limit is between this and this, then it is green. And then if this command says that if in the image HSV the pixels are from lower threshold to upper threshold, then if it's in that range, then the M will store those particular pixels, and if not, then it will have black pixels. That's why you can see black over here, and wherever it is green you can see white over here. But now how to avoid these noises? Okay, so here there is something called as Gaussian blur. It's nothing but blurring the image. The syntax is very simple and straightforward. Before processing the image, before converting into grayscale or HSV, first I'm blurring the image, that is reducing the details of the image. CV2.Gaussian blur, what you are blurring? Your image. To what extent you are blurring? I'll explain this. And this is nothing but the kernel size. Basically, what Gaussian blur does is, imagine this is your image. And let's say the size is 11 cross 11. Now, when you apply Gaussian blur of, let's say, 1 cross 1, then there will be a small box formed of size 1 cross 1, and this particular box blurs the pixel which is inside it, and this box keeps on moving around the image like this for the entire image, and the image gets blurred completely. So if we increase the size of this particular box, the blur intensity increases. If we reduce the size of this box, the blur intensity decreases. And also one important thing, always remember all the filters you do, all the kernels you apply in OpenCV, the kernel size should be odd numbered. So but it can be any combination. It can be 9,3, 9,11, 7,5, but it shouldn't be 5,2 or 2,4. Now first let me show you for kernel size 3,3. This is the blur intensity for 3,3. See, most of the noise is avoided, but even though you can find little noises over here. So let's increase the blur intensity. Let's say 9,9. Now if you see over here, there is no noise at all because it's blurred to max. It's not max actually, you can blur it like 579, 579 also, that doesn't matter. But we have to blur in a way that we are getting optimum input. If we blur so much, there's a chance that even this is considered as noise. So how to fix this threshold? Always fixing a threshold is a hit or trail method, right? But there's a shortcut to do it. So I'll be explaining the shortcut right now. So look at this code.
Yes, and this is the shortcut way to define the threshold limits. First I will show you the demo of this program so that it will be easy for you guys to understand what it is and what it's actually doing. So hi again. So this is a yellow box, right? Now I want to color track this box. So what will I do? See, when I want to detect a color, what are the major things which are necessary? The lower threshold and upper threshold. For lower threshold we have three values, HSV. Upper threshold similar, HSV. And also we have one more value called as blur, like what intensity you have to blur to avoid the noises. So I need basically HSV lower limit, HSV upper limit and a blur, 7 variables. So I have to create a 7 trackers. That's what I'm doing. I'm creating a window called as WO. And then I'm creating 7 trackers as start1, end1, start2, end2, start3, end3 and the blur tracker. And each tracker will have values from 0 to 7. First tracker 179, second tracker 255, third tracker 255 and the fourth tracker will have 0 to 100 and nothing. This is nothing but when you use a tracker, when you slide it, the value which you are choosing will get passed to this particular function, and this function I defined as pass. So whatever value you are passing to this function, and this function will pass that value to your program. Now I'm importing CV2, importing NumPy, then while one in the infinite loop. I'm reading the frame from the camera, I'm showing the frame from the camera, and then I'm recognizing what button I'm pressing from the keyboard. Like if I press B, the K value will be 98. If I press A, the K value will be 97. Similarly here, GH. This particular variable will get the value from the track bar, which is blur. So this blur trackbar will give the value to variable GH, and if this GH is an even number, we are adding one. As I said, Gaussian blur or any filter will always have a odd value. So that's what we are doing over here. We are getting the value from this trackbar and storing it in GH and then passing that to the blur function. Similarly, I'm converting the image to HSV format, showing the HSV format, and then I'm getting all the threshold data. C and the variable C, D, E, F, G, H. So C and F and H, sorry, C, F and G are my starting points. D, F and H are my ending points. So I'm creating two array, lower threshold, upper threshold. Lower threshold is CEG, upper threshold is DFH. So look at this. Here, instead of these values, I'm creating CEG. Instead of these values, I'm creating DFH. What are these variables? These variables contain the data which they receive from this particular trackbar, end1, start1 and end2, which we created over here. Look at the code once, run it yourself, you will understand it better. Now, yum equals to cv2.inRange. In the HSV format, if the value of a pixel is between this lower threshold and upper threshold, then yum will have only those particular pixels. Then I am displaying yum. If I press A, then as usual, the window will get destroyed. Now, hi again. So yeah, let's open this. See, this is the trackbar and this is the window, and always make sure starting point should be less than the ending point. That's the usual rule. Now see this. This is a yellow color, right? Now I just want the yellow color. I don't need anything else. So yeah, let me adjust the threshold and see. The white color means it is tracking. The black color means it's not tracking. So I just want this. So I have to make sure only this part is white, nothing else. See, this becomes black. That means I should scroll it in the right. Like you have to adjust it manually. It's very easy to define threshold. As you adjust, you can see the values over here. So you can find any threshold value for any color. See, it's done. Now it is tracking the yellow color of the ball, but you can see the different the edges, right? The disturbance, the noise in the edges. So let's blur it. Yeah, look at this. This where it has noise. When I'm blurring, see the difference. As I increase the blur, you can see the blurred image over here. That's how it avoids the noise. So that's it for today. I hope you understood the basics, and today we are not doing any projects, and today we took a lot of time because like you have to know all the basics, and I hope you guys will try this out. So if you have any doubt, you can DM us like anytime, 24/7 we are available. And yeah, share this with your friends and give your comments, give your suggestions. This is our first video, so we'll learn from this, we will improve it, and we will give you what you are expecting. Thank you. Bye. Love you 3000. Bye. Yeah.